Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my review on The Suicide Squad by James Gunn. And as you can see, I'm wearing a t-shirt from the 2016 movie. Let me explain how I got this shirt. Back in 2016, I didn't want to know what the reviews for the DC movies because I was a bit worried and skeptical, like, oh no, are the movies going to be terrible? Are they because Zack Snyder's Man of Steel had some polarizing reviews, and I didn't want to know what they got on Rotten Tomatoes, what people think about them. I want to look at these movies with an open mind. And I like buying t-shirts, wearing t-shirts of the movie I'm going to see. So I got this t-shirt on a website called superherostuff.com, and no, I'm not sponsored by it. I just want to tell you the website. It was superherostuff.com, and I got this t-shirt. I thought this was a perfect t-shirt to wear. And I had no idea what Suicide Squad was. Like, I didn't know if it was good or bad. I just bought a t-shirt and just went in and have fun with it. And wow. Well, I can tell you this new Suicide Squad, it is nothing like this one. Like, you can still, like, as long as you know the Suicide Squad, you can still follow this story just as much. Like, I think because a lot of people wanted the 2016 one to be rated R, this was not for it to be rated R. And James Gunn, oh, yeah, for those of you that don't know, in 2018, I think, yeah, in 2018 or 19, 2018 to 2019, James Gunn got fired from doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was originally going to come out in 2020, but not because of the pandemic if it was delayed, but chances are it would have been delayed due to the pandemic. But James Gunn got fired by Disney from those inappropriate tweets he did years ago. There were more like raunchy jokes, but Disney didn't want to support that. And since James Gunn was basically irreplaceable of the version he created, he was like, and they were like, and the charm they brought to them, like, he did a lot of good jokes in Volume 2, like, he knows how to be funny. But here's the thing, so Warner Brothers went to him and tried to hire him. It's like, hey, James Gunn, you did such a good job with those Guardians of the Galaxy movies from Marvel. How about we do one for DC? And Warner Brothers like, which one would you like to do? Suicide Squad, Green Lantern? He's like, I'd like to do Suicide Squad because that's a movie I've been thinking of doing. And okay, so the movie, and he finally got to do the movie. He got to do his Suicide Squad. I mean, yes, Disney later decided to rehire him. Like, they decided to rehire him to be the director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 again, so it's all good now. But James Gunn, I feel like he got a good revenge on it, like saying like, okay, I'll come back to do Volume 3, but I has to finish Suicide Squad first. So I feel like, yeah, you fired me, and because of that, I has to finish this other movie, and you would have had already let me make the movie to begin with if you hadn't fired me. That's kind of funny. But anyways, Suicide Squad. Let's begin the review. Now, spoilers. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's already been out for a week. But spoilers. I heard this movie is bombing. I don't know why, but maybe it's because it still is COVID and there's not a lot of people that rushing into the movies. Like, that's what I think. I think a lot of people's like, oh, the people aren't seeing this movie because it sucks, or no. Like, I know a lot of movies did well even with the pandemic, but still, try to understand. This is there is a pandemic around, and yeah, I think the 2016 Suicide Squad movie left a bad taste in everyone's mouth that even if it is James Gunn, people are still a bit skeptical of going to see this one. Anyways, okay, so the Suicide Squad. I liked it. I really liked it. It's weird because Rotten Tomatoes give it like 100%. I'm like, wow, Suicide Squad gets 100%. Lucky you. Like, this is the movie we wanted in 2016. But the popcorn meter, like the critics' consensus were awesome, saying like it's fun, it's injected. But the popcorn meter, which is mainly the audience, which is weird because the audience is more positive with certain movies. But here they say, "Oh, it's not it may not be amazing, but it still has a lot of fun," and it got like an 80% on the popcorn meter or on Tomatoes, but oh, sorry, I'm supposed to review it, but hear me out on this. But everyone's like, it's not amazing, but it's still awesome. Well, I thought it was amazing, but it's so weird because I feel like they're not actually reviewing the movie. I feel like they're just trying to say reviews, but they're all those people are like, release this cut of the original Suicide Squad, release this cut. And I even give James Gunn a hard time about it. I'm like, not James Gunn, he's awesome, he's nice, and he makes great movies. And look, I love, as you can see with the posters and stuff I love like sci-fi, superheroes, geek culture, and all that. But I hate how toxic it can be. I think we can all agree on that. Oh, that's my Looney Tunes clock. It's 9 o'clock. And as you can see with the filter, it's a bit dark. But, sorry, the review. Well, the movie opens in a helicopter scene with Harley Quinn and the other characters. Like, they introduce, like, unlike the other one where they introduced the characters, but they were like, man, Flash, Flash, oh, here's the characters, it's this character, boo, boo, boo. No, they try to introduce them like how they'll have a conversation, like, who are these people? Like, they introduced this character, like, at first it wasn't the main characters, but it was like Nathan Fillion's character as DTK, and I think it was like Triple or Arm Kid something. But yeah, he's loosely based on Arm Fall of Boy, and I thought he was gonna be Blackguard, but no, he's Arm Fall of Boy. Well, sort of. He's DTK, which is stands for something. I forget what it was, but he removes his arms and he starts attacking people, and they did it in a funny way. Like, I love how, and I love that they're not a team of superheroes. Well, kind of, but because a lot of people hated in the 2016 movie about, wait, there's supposed to be a team of superheroes, but you're hiring all these D-list villains, and the next person you want to fight to save the world is a guy with a boomerang, and is a guy with a clown with a baseball bat, and a guy who can shoot good. Well, they don't do this here. Like, there is a scene, as you can see by the trailers. Did I mention that there's going to be spoilers? Because there's a lot. Yeah. Starro's in the movie. As you can tell by the trailer, Starro. I know who Starro is because he was the first villain the Justice League fight. And now he's got his first movie debut, or her, whatever. And I'll get to that when I get to that. But yeah, so the main characters, like, they introduce like characters like Javelin, and I love how their costume designs like Javelin, Peacemaker, yeah, are extremely faithful to the comics. Like, this is like a live action version of the characters from the comics. And it's so weird that they did that, because when you look at the Justice League movie, like, this takes place in like Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League, and when you look at Superman's outfits, when you look at Superman's outfit, Henry Cavill's Superman, and all the other characters, they took liberties like Flash, Aquaman at first, and I'm like, wow. And but it's interesting how weirdly faithful to the comics this is. But yeah, this isn't afraid to be raunchy, and this. But yeah, like the first team we saw in the helicopter, because spoiler alert, but they all get killed off. They were there as a distraction. All those characters like Blackguard, TDK, Mongolia, the alien lady with the orange skin, they were all there just for a distraction so the army can kill them off. But yeah, the real characters are like Bloodsport, Peacemaker, King Shark, Ratcatcher, Polka Dot Man, and later Harley Quinn who becomes. But yeah, they were there as a distraction so the real characters can come in, and they introduced them. Now, Bloodsport. For those of you that don't know, Idris Elba was going to replace Will Smith's character as Deadshot. Like, he was going to be Deadshot instead, but I think either James Gunn or the studios or the producer or someone working on the movie was like, or Will Smith himself was like, nah, Will Smith might come back. So instead of Idris Elba replacing Will Smith as Deadshot, he placed this character named Bloodsport, which is a Superman stand-in. I mean, which is a basically a Deadshot stand-in. I do like that they try to make him a bit different than Deadshot. Like, okay, this is Deadshot and this is Bloodspot or Bloodsport. Like Bloodsport. Okay, Bloodsport. Lord, but yeah, he's basically a Deadshot stand-in, but he's pretty cool. And I did like how they make fun of it. Like, there's a scene where Amanda was like, anything in his hand can be a weapon. Anything in this character's hand can be a weapon. Like Peacemaker, anything in his hand can be a weapon. And I'm like, that's literally what you said about me. And they put Polka Dot Man in here, and he's like, and I do like that they kind of make him a bit powerful. Like, he has powers and he can shoot lights, and and they make fun of him. Like, hey, my kid's birthday is coming up. Can you be the entertainer? Like, I feel like, because this is the stuff that critics and audiences made fun on YouTube about the first Suicide Squad movie, so I like how they make fun of these characters of how crazy they are, but I like that they're not afraid to make them either funny, or if you think they're lame, they're gonna be powerful, or if they're lame, they're just there as a joke, and I like how they had fun with this. Yes. Like, like, no, no, spoiler alert again, but there's something that they did that made me a bit upset. They killed off Captain Boomerang. I mean, he isn't in there much in the trailer, so yeah, I guess it wasn't revealing anything, and but yeah, they killed off Captain Boomerang, because in the comics, he's like the main character in the Suicide Squad franchise. I mean, yeah, there's different alterations to the Suicide Squad, but that's weird that he killed him off. But yeah, they killed off a lot of characters I want to see more of, like Mongolia. She's like this daughter of Mongol, this big alien muscle guy who fights the Justice League, and I kind of want to see what they do with her. But yeah, a lot of characters they just kill off, and they make it like funny. But there's a scene where Harley Quinn has Javelin's weapon, a javelin. It's like, what am I supposed to do with it? And oh, she does something with it. But yeah, I like Peace and John Cena. John Cena's been in everything, but I like seeing him in as Peacemaker. And there's like a scene where they're fighting, and it's like, and they're trying to rescue Rick Flag, and there's like, Rick Flag, what are you doing? And they're like, well, these people are the freedom fighters. They saved me, and I'm like, uh-oh. And they're like, they killed off all these people, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah, they killed off all the those people who are not evil soldiers. They're supposed to be the good guys, and they're like, oh no, and like, you idiots. Oh, I do like that they kind of make fun of how stupid they are. Like, they're meant to be idiots, kind of like how in the first Suicide Squad, a lot of people criticize that they were idiots, but here they have fun and kind of point out that they're idiots, which just makes the movie a lot funnier. But yeah, okay, the Suicide. But yeah, the country they're going to is not Cuba, but the Corto Maltese, which is actually a place in the DC universe. It even was mentioned in the 1989 Batman movie by Tim Burton. You know how Vicky Vieira was like, "Oh, you went to this place called the Corto Maltese?" That's that place. Oh, so yes, if you actually heard, speaking of Batman, but yeah, the other DC characters, like Superman gets a mention, like he used a kryptonite bullet. Bloodsport used a kryptonite bullet, and I'm like that is a thing he did in the comics, but they didn't say it, he died, so he was in the ICU. But hmm, I kind of want to see that, like Henry Cavill Superman versus Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Also, there is a place called. Also, they go to the place where they're hiding Starro, like Starro's in the movie, and the Thinker, like Peter something, his character, the guy who played the 12th Doctor on Doctor Who, which I don't have them on this poster, but anyways, the Thinker, like, he had all these cyborg things in his head that makes him the Thinker, and he's like, we have Starro, and I call him Starro the Conqueror, and he escapes, and also King Shark was a lot of fun. I'm glad they didn't kill him off. Like, I'm glad, because I was a bit worried, like, oh no, they don't kill him, but I like that he survived, because I kind of want to see him interact with Aquaman, like who would win in a fight between them? Also, Sylvester Stallone does the voice of him, which is pretty funny. And similar to something like Groot, he's he just talks in like he doesn't say I am King Shark, but he just a little bit communication, which is pretty funny. But yeah, and Ratcatcher, like in the comics, Ratcatcher's a dude, but this like her daughter, like Ratcatcher 2, and she has this light that controls things. Oh yeah, and the plot twist at the end where they're fighting Starro, which is interesting that Starro makes his first film debut not in a Justice League movie, but in a Suicide Squad movie. I like how James Gunn is a hardcore comic book fan. Like this is something I might do, but he puts Starro in, and she has this light that's afraid of that controls rats, and she uses all the rats in the Corto Maltese and attacks, and at the end he uses it to attack Starro, and Harley Quinn uses the javelin to jump and fire at the eyeball, and then boom, and then they're like, and they went into the eyeball, and they were like, and then the rats ate the eyeball, and yeah, that's Starro's first film debut. He gets eaten. He gets eaten by rats in his eye. Oh, this was a funny movie, a really fun movie. This is what the 2016 Suicide Squad should have been. Also, yes, there's no Jared Leto as the Joker. It's too bad because I want to see what James Gunn would have done with Jared Leto's Joker. But I like how he handled Harley Quinn. But I kind of like her military black and red outfit she wore in the beginning of the movie because I like how it was still faithful to the comics but had like an army military vibe to it. That looked cool. But in the rest of the movie, she wears like this dress, this red dress thing that she gets seduced by this guy who gets shot, and he's like, "Oh no, no red flags." Oh, so yeah, Rick Flag. Rick Flag gets killed off. Yeah, like Peacemaker, like Rick Flag wanted to reveal to the public, but Peacemaker was like, no, we must create peace. Yeah, Peacemaker is described as a douchey Captain America. But yeah, this guy was like we must create peace, and just like no, and we gotta fight it. And he kills Rick Flag. I'm like, they killed off Rick Flag. He's like the main character of the Suicide Squad. He's like the guy who leads the whole team. But yeah, so But yeah, they killed him off, and don't worry, he wasn't boring. A lot of people criticized that Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad movie was boring, but he was actually really funny in this. He had a lot of funny lines to say. Also, there's this character named Weasel who at first died, but then comes back to life at a mid-credit scene. And yes, there is a well, before I tell you that, the after-end credit scene, there's Peacemaker and Deadshot I mean, Bloodsport fight each other. It's like, I use a big bullet. And I really want to see them interact with Will Smith as Deadshot. I want to see how they would work off each other. But there was like, but then it was like, and they saved the day. Like, Bloodsport shot Peacemaker, and they use the MacGuffin. No, not the MacGuffin. It's not really a MacGuffin. It's a chip that they use that's not really the main focus of the movie. But and he puts it away, but he uses it to blackmail Waller, like, you let us go and be nice to our senses, and we won't go public with this. Yeah, but I did like that there were like, oh screw it, let's just save this town from that giant starfish. And wow, I've been talking for 19 minutes. This is a very long review, but I I have a lot to say about this movie, they're they're like, let's save it. And Starro, like he does the starfish thing he does in the comics, like controls people, and they're like, and I thought like they could remove it, but no, they really latch on, like they almost kill people, like of how latch on they are. And I'm like, oi. But anyways, Starro, but yeah, so they defeat Starro, like I said, with rats. And Peacemaker, like he comes back at an after end credit scene, but sorry, there was a part where they're going to save the day, but Amanda was like, "I'm gonna blow your heads up," but someone behind her is like, "Whack!" and yeah, go save the day, and they save the day. I do. There is moments where we get to know the characters like enough, like we get to know Bloodsport, we get to know who these are and what they are, because they're the main characters, and they have nice backstories of why they do this. But yeah, the other characters I'm disappointed we didn't got to know that much, but yeah, they kind of open, like you can not know the other Suicide Squad movie, but I feel like you can't, you kind of have to, like, just to get an idea of what to know enough. Like, say what you want about the 2016 movie, but they at least explained who these characters are, what Task Force X is. And yes, they call it Task Force X. Everyone made fun of it, like, you're calling this thing the Suicide Squad. Like, what does that tell you? But it's called Task Force X. That's its real name. But they're like, it's the Suicide Squad. That's the nickname. But yeah, but it was a fun movie, and I spent almost 20 minutes reviewing this. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I hope you go see it. And I had lots of fun with it. I hope you have fun watching it too. It was an amazing movie. I love it, and I hope you love it. And that's my review, and I hope you can enjoy it, and I hope someday, and I hope I make new videos and share them with you. Good. Have a nice day.